happening out here that I don't understand. I grew up with myths, scary stories, spirits, cannibals, foxes in the night crying out, open doors. These spirits, they're still here. They've just been pushed to the side of the brain. One of them is pushing back.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 horror film Don't Say Its Name, a film that is co-written and directed by Ruben Martell, and it stars Sarah Lynn MacArthur, Madison Walsh, Samuel Marty and Catherine Gell. Now this focuses on a small northern American town that's got it's kind of, they coexist with like an Indian reservation, that sort of thing, a bit like Wind River, if you remember seeing that film from a couple of years ago. And a young woman is killed under suspicious circumstances. It appears to be like an accident, a road traffic accident, but she was like an environmental activist who was shining the light on this big corporation that had moved into this northern town. And she was basically exposing them for the environmental damage that they were doing or potentially doing. So she dies, and her mother, who is mourning, uses some ancient Indian spell to bring back her daughter, who then proceeds to take out anybody with any connection to this this company that's harming the environment in this northern town. And it's up to the local sheriff and an ex-military park ranger to try and figure out what's going on to keep the community safe. Right, what are my thoughts on Don't Say Its Name? Well, this film, to a large degree, has got a decent amount going for it. It's got some good production values, even though it's a low-budget film. It looks clean and tidy and fairly crisp. It's shot very nicely in regards to the very location that they're filming in. You get some nice outdoor shots. It looks quite beautiful at times. And it's one of those low-budget films where they've cast smartly, in the sense of everybody here does a good job in regards to their performances, and they're all believable, even though nobody kind of stands out as outstanding or anything like that. All very kind of run-of-the-mill characters, which also is one of the film's weaknesses, because none of these characters are particularly well fleshed out, so you don't end up really caring about any of these people in this town, which is a bit of a shame. And the idea here is good. I mean, this vengeful spirit type thing has been over and over. It's been done over and over again in these type of movies, and it can work, generally speaking. And this, while it has its issues, and it's one of those films, again, that if you pull on the thread, it will fall to pieces in regards to plot holes and things like that. It's overall a pretty watchable horror film that is raised up a little bit, like I say, by how well made the film is and the decent performances by everybody on display. So it always makes it more difficult, and it sounds obvious, I know, but it always makes it more difficult if you're watching a low-budget film and the performances are really, really poor, and it looks cheap and sounds cheap. And you don't get that here. It looks good, sounds good, and the performances are all decent. So it always makes it more palatable when you're watching these sort of films. For the most part, though, there's things here that just don't make sense. It takes quite a long time into the film, and you're kind of thinking, why are these people being targeted? And that doesn't make sense why this person's being killed and not this person. And initially, what I thought was quite creative and inventive ways to film these kills early on in the film. By the end of the film, it kind of forgets all that, and it becomes very generic and almost slasher-like. And it looks a bit odd. The later kills in the film, or the later attempts at kills in the film. And again, it forgets what's come before. Early in the film, this vengeful spirit type thing is killing people very swiftly and it appears to be very deadly and almost invisible. So it's there, but it's not. And then people are dead with a blink of an eye sort of thing, and they've been cut to shreds. And then later in the film, it can't even take out a kid who's trying to cycle away on a bike. It's doing a really poor job at taking people out later in the film. But these are like, more characters that are central to the story, so they're harder to kill. And the effects are nowhere near as impressive later in the film as they were early in the film. I like the way this spirit, although I'm not really sure what kind of creature it is, whether it is a spirit or if it's more of a creature. It doesn't really make it 100% clear here in the film. It was filmed better earlier in the film, in a sense of it was more impressive than it was portrayed later in the film. So it kind of goes from like this swift, silent killer to like this clumsy killer later in the film. But I say the characters here aren't particularly fleshed out. We've got the sheriff's character, Betty, played by Madison Walsh, who, plays a sheriff. Pretty generic stuff. She's got a son, she's got a home life, all this kind of stuff, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, she does a decent enough job, but there's no complexities to the character other than that. And arguably, one of the most interesting characters here in this film is Stacy, this ex-military park ranger. Clearly, she's got issues, she's got problems, PTSD, all this kind of stuff, and this character is nowhere near explored enough. And we don't learn anywhere near enough about this character. So it's kind of full of poorly fleshed out written characters, but the film kind of chugs along at a decent enough pace and it keeps your interest up. So for that reason, I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. It's a pretty decent distraction, decent quality to it, and I think horror fans will be reasonably satisfied with it, but be warned, it's not without its flaws. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you like this review. Of course, I will be back with plenty more reviews on the channel very, very soon.